Today's question is a big one. How do Muslims see Christians? And how do Christians see Muslims? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into Islam versus Christianity, compare beliefs, and uncover what each faith really says about the other. There are a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions out there, so in this video, we're going straight to the Quran, the Bible, and real-life beliefs to understand how these two faiths actually view each other. How do Muslims see Christians? Let's start from the Islamic side. In Islam, Christians are not seen as enemies. In fact, the Quran uses a special term for them, Ahl al-Kitab, meaning people of the book. That's because Muslims believe Christians, like Jews, received earlier revelations from God, the Torah and the Gospel, before the final revelation, the Quran. So right from the start, there's a level of respect built into Islamic teaching. Quranic view, the Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah 262, "Indeed, those who believe and those who are Jews or Christians or Sabians, whoever believes in Allah in the last day and does righteous deeds, will have their reward with their Lord, and they will not fear nor grieve." That's a powerful verse. It shows that Islam recognizes the faith of sincere Christians who believe in God and do good. However, Islam also teaches that Christianity changed over time, especially regarding Jesus and the concept of the Trinity. Muslims believe that Jesus, Isa, was one of the greatest prophets, born miraculously from the Virgin Mary, but not divine. The Quran rejects the idea that Jesus is God's son. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 572, it says, "They have certainly disbelieved who say, Allah is the Messiah, the son of Mary." So while Islam honors Jesus and Mary deeply, it doesn't accept the Christian belief that Jesus is God or part of the Trinity. Respect and common ground. But here's the interesting part. The Quran still teaches respect and coexistence. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 582, it says, "You will find the nearest of them in affection to the believers, those who say, 'We are Christians.' That is because among them are priests and monks, and because they are not arrogant." So the Quran actually praises humble and sincere Christians, those devoted to God. That's why historically Muslims and Christians have lived side by side for centuries. In Andalusia, the Ottoman Empire, the Middle East, with shared cultures, trade, and even interfaith dialogue, theological difference. To sum it up, Muslims respect Christians as people of the book. They believe Christians follow an earlier revelation from the same God. But they disagree with Christian theology, especially the ideas of Trinity and the divinity of Jesus. So from the Muslim perspective, Christians are respected believers who, according to Islam, took a slightly different path after Jesus. 2. How do Christians see Muslims? Now let's flip the question. How do Christians see Muslims? This is where things get really interesting because it depends on which part of the Christian world you look at. Let's start with the Bible and theology, then move to history and modern views. Biblical foundations. The Bible, of course, doesn't mention Islam directly because Islam came 600 years after Jesus. But Christians later interpreted how to view Muslims based on the Bible's teachings about loving your neighbor and sharing faith. Jesus said in Matthew 22:39, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And also in Luke 6:27, "Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you." So Christian doctrine at its core encourages love, compassion, and dialogue, even with those of different faiths. Many Christian theologians see Muslims as people who sincerely believe in one God, even though they have a different understanding of Jesus and salvation. Historical context. Historically, though, the relationship has been complex. During the Crusades and the Ottoman Wars, Christians and Muslims often clashed politically and militarily. Those conflicts created centuries of mistrust and stereotypes. But in modern times, many Christian leaders have worked hard to rebuild bridges. For example, the Catholic Church's document Nostra Aetate, 1965, says, "The Church regards with esteem also the Muslims. They adore the one God, living and subsisting in himself, merciful and all-powerful, the creator of heaven and earth." That's huge. It's official recognition that Christians and Muslims worship the same creator, even if their understanding differs. Modern Christian views. Today, most Christian denominations see Muslims as believers in one God, people of strong moral faith, spiritual cousins through Abraham. But of course, there are also Christian groups that see Islam as theologically wrong, or even as a rival religion. The main theological disagreement is this. Christians believe salvation comes only through Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Muslims believe salvation comes through submission to Allah and good deeds, without the need for a divine savior. So the difference isn't just about who Jesus is, it's about how humanity connects to God. 3. Real-life Muslims and Christians. Today, in real life, Muslims and Christians interact daily as neighbors, co-workers, classmates, and friends. There are 1.9 billion Muslims and 2.4 billion Christians in the world. That's over half of humanity. So the relationship between these two faiths literally shapes the future of the planet. In many countries, Muslims and Christians cooperate for charity, education, and peace projects. Interfaith dialogue is growing, especially through organizations that promote understanding instead of hate for. Shared values, let's not forget the similarities. Both faiths teach belief in one creator and respect for prophets and revelation, moral living and charity, the importance of prayer and forgiveness. Even though their beliefs differ about Jesus, they share a common moral foundation: faith, family, honesty, and compassion. 5. Final thoughts. So, how do Muslims see Christians and how do Christians see Muslims? At their best, with knowledge, not ignorance, they see each other as fellow believers in God, sharing a mission for peace, justice, and morality. At their worst, through misunderstanding and prejudice, they see each other as rivals. But the truth is, Islam and Christianity have more in common than most people realize. And the more we talk, the more we discover that we're not opposites. We're neighbors in faith. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Do you think Muslims and Christians truly understand each other? What surprised you most about what each faith believes? Let's keep the conversation respectful and insightful, because that's how real understanding begins.